But who is Andrew Tate and why is he a figure of interest? Well, to understand the answer, we must first step back and delve into the rise of this intriguing individual. Andrew Tate, a name synonymous with controversy and influence, has etched his mark on the social media world. His journey to fame wasn't a typical one. Starting from the world of kickboxing, he went on to become a four-time world champion, an accomplishment that paved his way into the limelight. But the fighting ring was only the beginning for Tate. His larger-than-life personality and unapologetic attitude soon found a new arena: social media. Tate was no stranger to the power of these platforms, capitalizing on their reach to amplify his voice. His content, often brash and direct, resonated with a vast audience, making him a prominent figure in the digital world. But Andrew Tate was not just about creating content. He was also a shrewd businessman, leveraging his influence to embark on various ventures. He launched tatepledge.com, a platform that allowed his followers to support his work directly. This move caught the eye of none other than Elon Musk, the tech mogul who was looking for unique ways to reward content creators. Tate claimed to have received over $20,000 through Musk's innovative payment scheme, a testament to his growing clout. However, with his rise to fame came the inevitable controversy. Andrew Tate's candid and often provocative content sparked debates, drawing both admiration and criticism. It was this polarizing personality that made him a figure of interest in the social media landscape. The controversy, far from deterring him, only seemed to fuel his ascent. Tate's influence was growing, but not without stirring up some controversy. As we move forward, we'll delve deeper into these controversies and explore the circumstances surrounding his ban from social media. Stay tuned as we unravel the story of Andrew Tate, a man who continues to baffle and fascinate in equal measure. Andrew Tate, a figure loved by some, loathed by others. What sparked the controversies? Well, the answer lies in his own self-proclaimed views and actions. Andrew Tate is no stranger to controversy. He proudly identifies himself as a misogynist, a label that has, understandably, led to widespread criticism and backlash. But the controversies don't stop there. Halfway across the world, in Romania, Tate found himself entangled in legal troubles. The charges he faced, while not explicitly mentioned, were serious enough to make international headlines. This further amplified the polarizing responses to his content, with some rallying behind him, while others decried his actions. In a surprising twist, Tate claimed to have received over $20,000 through Elon Musk's new payment scheme for content creators. This was despite the fact that he was previously banned from Twitter, one of the platforms participating in the scheme. Tate shared a screenshot of the payment notification, directing the funds to his website. TatePledge.com. Musk's payment scheme, announced in June, had its first block of payments totaling $5 million. However, it stirred up controversy when some of the initial beneficiaries appeared to be high-profile far-right influencers. This raised questions about the selection process and whether it was inadvertently supporting controversial figures like Tate. Tate's return to Twitter, facilitated by Musk, only added fuel to the fire. His reinstatement, along with a number of other previously banned accounts, drew scrutiny and criticism. Musk's actions were seen as a direct challenge to Twitter's attempts to regulate content and maintain a safe environment for its users. The controversies surrounding Andrew Tate are multifaceted, touching on issues of free speech, platform responsibility, and individual accountability. His self-proclaimed misogynistic views, legal troubles in Romania, and contentious relationship with social media platforms have made him a divisive figure in the world of online influencers. These issues began to strain his relationship with social media platforms. And as we'll soon see, this strain would eventually lead to a breaking point. Stay tuned for the next chapter in the saga of Andrew Tate. And then came the ban. But what led to this drastic measure? Well, it all started with Andrew Tate's controversial online behavior. His posts were often seen as offensive and inflammatory, sparking outrage and calls for action. The social media platform cited violations of community standards as the primary reason for his ban. The specifics of these violations varied, but they generally revolved around hate speech, harassment, and misinformation. Tate's ban did not go unnoticed. As soon as the news broke, the internet was abuzz with a flurry of reactions. Some celebrated the decision as a victory against online toxicity, a much-needed act of accountability enforcing the rules of respect and decency in the digital sphere. They argued that platforms should not serve as conduits for harmful narratives that could potentially incite violence or propagate false information. On the other side of the coin, there were those who saw the ban as an assault on free speech. They argued that social media platforms, as public spaces, should uphold the principle of freedom of expression, even when the views expressed are controversial or unpopular. They pointed out that Andrew Tate, despite his contentious views, had a right to voice his opinions without fear of censorship or reprisal. It's important to note that the ban didn't just affect Andrew Tate. It also impacted his followers and those who engaged with his content, whether they agreed with his views or not. The ban sparked a debate about the balance between free speech and accountability on social media platforms, a debate that continues to this day. But the ban didn't mark the end of Andrew Tate's social media journey. On the contrary, it was merely a pause, a momentary halt before the next chapter in his online saga. Tate's social media presence was abruptly halted, but the story doesn't end here. In a surprising turn of events, Andrew Tate was back, but how? Well, enter Elon Musk, the billionaire tech tycoon who took the reins of Twitter and decided to shake things up a bit. He had been critical of Twitter in the past, accusing it of not adhering to free speech principles. Once he was in control, the platform saw numerous changes, from employee firings to the introduction of a verification fee. But one of the most controversial moves was his decision to reinstate banned accounts. Among the resurrected were some high-profile names like former President Donald Trump, controversial influencer Andrew Tate, and comedian Kathy Griffin. These reinstatements were based on a poll showing majority support for their return. It seemed like a democratic move, but it sparked quite a bit of controversy. Many questioned the selection process, particularly when it came to Tate. After all, he had been banned for his misogynistic comments, something many felt should not be overlooked. Yet, there he was back on Twitter, his voice once again reverberating through the digital landscape. To add fuel to the fire, Tate also claimed to have received over $20,000 through Elon Musk's new payment scheme for content creators. This payment was supposedly made through Twitter's ad revenue, a fact that Tate proudly shared with the world. This led to further questions and controversy about the fairness and transparency of Musk's new payment scheme. But despite the controversy, the fact remained that Andrew Tate was back. He was once again a part of the social media world, his voice amplified by the very platform that had once silenced him. His return was met with mixed reactions. Some welcomed it, seeing it as a triumph of free speech. Others condemned it, viewing it as a step backwards in the fight against online hate and misogyny. Just as quickly as he was gone, Andrew Tate was back in the social media world. Andrew Tate's story raises important questions about social media's role and responsibilities. His journey, marred by controversies and punctuated by bans and reinstatements, mirrors the evolving landscape of digital platforms and their struggle to strike a balance between freedom of speech and maintaining a safe online environment. The tale of Andrew Tate is not an isolated incident. It's part of a larger narrative that sees social media platforms grappling with the challenge of determining what constitutes acceptable content. On one hand, there's the argument for free speech, the right to voice one's opinions without fear of censorship. On the other, there's the pressing need to curb the spread of harmful, offensive, or misleading content that could potentially damage individuals or society at large. In the case of Andrew Tate, his ban and subsequent reinstatement highlight the thin line that platforms like Twitter tread. His controversial views and statements, although contentious, found support among certain sections of the online community. When Elon Musk reinstated his account, it sparked a debate about the power that social media moguls wield and how they can shape the narrative. The saga also brings into focus the role of influencers in the digital age. Figures like Andrew Tate, with their substantial fan following, have a significant impact on public discourse. Their words and actions carry weight, and when they cross the line, it can lead to ripple effects across the digital sphere. It sparks the question of accountability. How much responsibility do influencers bear for the content they produce, and the impact it has. Furthermore, the case serves as a reminder of the global nature of social media. What happens in one corner of the digital world doesn't stay there. It reverberates across borders and cultures. It underscores the need for a universally accepted set of guidelines to govern content and conduct on these platforms. In the end, the saga of Andrew Tate serves as a compelling case study in the complex dynamics of social media today. It's a story that asks us to reflect on the power of digital platforms, the influence of public figures, and the ongoing struggle to balance freedom of speech with the need for a safe and respectful online community.